So I mentioned in the previous video that was posted that was, I thought, my first game. Now that I'm watching this was definitely my first game because I look really rusty at the beginning, and hour 2 is when the next game happened. Like, I obviously played that later on in the day, and clearly I didn't look as rusty and as terrible. At the beginning of here, I was really bad. So yeah, gonna see that and talk about that a bit. For some details on this, team against here is a team the Blades of Steel team beat in the playoffs last year, where it got really dirty in it a lot, and the other team got really angry. So they're always they're a good hockey team, and then they always have tempers and stuff. So we'll see what happens there. For gear wise, we'll talk a little bit about this, which is the Hyperlite 2 set. And this is the first game of use for here. I use this in shinnies and stuff. Didn't get these soon enough to use in the training session, so don't have great front footage of this set, unfortunately. But only so much you can do in that for timing and things like that. But this is the first game with this, so the whole set is new to wear in this set. So we'll talk a little bit about this at the end. We'll just talk about the blocker here because the reviews are coming soon, but we'll talk about this one just because this is the set we're talking about, and the chests and everything have been talked about in the previous video. And you want to support the channel, and you need a base layer and a protective, kind of supportive base layer that helps protect your growing as well as your hips. Check out the Konekt. This is the Pro 1.0 pant, so this one is not quite as restrictive, and this is kind of tight right here in this X pattern. You might have seen these as Under Armour before, or Bauer for the hockey specific ones. There's also the Core 3.0, which is a lot stiffer, as you can see. Really helps protect my growing and keeping it kind of in place and make sure it doesn't overstretch itself. There's a discount code, and you click the link in the description. Use that discount code to get a discount off, help support myself, as well as get you some pretty awesome base layer pants that really do help with injury prevention and help stabilize your core while playing. Otherwise, if you want to support the channel without buying anything, check out links in the description to Patreon, buy me a coffee. Everything through there comes, again, back into the channel so I can make more content and doing real reviews. So as you can see, overall, pretty solid game for my team. Played really well. I didn't have like overall a ton of work to do, and they bailed me out a few times. I got lucky a few times when I was really rusty at the beginning. That glove save that just hit my glove and went over me was like, I was really happy that one didn't go in. I would have felt really bad about that. And my team did a pretty solid job here. Got a bunch of goals and held on at the end. So that's always a great thing. Like I mentioned, I was rusty at the beginning. There's a bunch where I'm just oversliding, going down, like going in the wrong spot totally, ugly glove save, and I got lucky and the puck stayed out. And then once I kind of got into a groove, I played better later on and it was a lot more solid. So that was always a nice thing. For the goal itself, it was a really bad giveaway that ended up being a 3-on-1. Pass across ice, and the guy who gets this puck is a very good shooter. He has a hard shot. He has an accurate shot. You always have to play him. He makes a great pass out front. I tried to deflect this and stop this with my stick. I get a chunk of it. It's going towards the post. It probably would have deflected into the net after that anyways, but their player pokes it in and they score. And it was kind of a little bit of an own goal in my eyes there, but it was a questionable one and it wasn't a great result on my end. But luckily that was the only goal they got for the rest of the game, and we ended up winning because of that. Now on to gear things. So like I mentioned, this is the Hyperlite 2 set and the blocker. This is the first time I have a custom set for this team, which is the Stars. Obviously, we have those retro Dallas Stars jerseys. So I figured, why don't we do a custom set of gear for this team? Because the colors are kind of interesting, and I thought it kind of worked with this graphic that I really wanted to use, which is a iTech Prodigy graphic. One thing I want to say about this whole set really quickly is I always saw this online when people were asking about like what gear to buy, and they were looking at like kind of Bauer's, and they'd be like, oh, Hyperlite 2 is amazing, it's so good, there's so much, like it's so hyped, it's gonna have so many great changes. And I always ask people, what changes, what makes it so much better than the Hyperlites or anything else out there? No one really had an answer for me when I had to question that. There's nothing crazy here, and they're not really pushing boundaries or anything. It honestly feels pretty stagnant for a few generations now, and it's not like the pads are bad or anything or the set's bad. It's just nothing has really all that changed all that much. This cuff though is one of the dumbest designs I have seen in a while from a company, and Bauer had some pretty interesting cuff ideas, and they had like solid cuffs. Like on the 2X Pro was a totally fine cuff, worked well, the design worked well. Ultrasonic went like to a foam molded one and it kind of got in the way a bit, I believe. And then same with the Hyperlite 1. And then they got rid of the cuff totally on the mock, which was like, okay, cool, you can be super flexible. And then they added this cuff, which is like this short kind of tiny cuff with that molded foam, which I love. But when it was actually like done up correctly and it had a piece of elastic holding it in place here, it was so tight and restricting, and your hand just like totally got stuck with this all the time. I couldn't move my wrist like at all when I wore the Warrior chest, so I had to cut that, and now it's super open and free. And even then, this still kind of gets in the way because of how molded it is and how it doesn't really flare all that much. So really stupid design. I'm not sure why they did that. The second I put this glove on, I put my hand in there and went, no, that has to change. And I don't really see many pros using this cuff compared to some other ones, so I don't know how that really passed things. But that's a mini review of this blocker. The blocker is really solid, to be honest. Besides that, it's actually one of my favorite ones I'm using right now. So I was always a Supreme guy. I really like the Supreme blockers and the hand position and stuff, but the hand position on this has been adjusted since the 2X Pro I use. At least it really feels like it has been. And it honestly feels like a more modern take on the two-piece Hyperlite blocker, which is great. And it's pretty decent overall. But you're gonna see a lot of usage of this right now, and it's been doing pretty good for me. And this blocker is pretty good. So I guess that is kind of what it is. The one thing I'm going to call out here is kind of a little nod to people who watched my video of the unboxing on this. I mentioned there was something wrong with the graphic. This is what is wrong with the graphic. So this should have been totally symmetrical, where this piece right here should have come down more like this. And I actually noticed it on one of the mock-ups, and I meant to change it. I got it fixed on the catching glove and totally forgot to tell them about this one. So this piece should like kind of come down here, but it's a very small thing. I mean, I see it all the time and it kind of bothers me a little bit, but it's not really a huge deal at all. And I still really like the glove, and I like how the set looks in general. So that's the first game with this. Pretty happy with the results. We're gonna see how the season's going to go forward. So far for these two teams, 2 good games already.
You're watching HockeyReviews.ca.